down, please.
Okay, that's coming down.
Alice.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video with Danny and Janny. I'm Janny, and today's video is gonna be a little bit different. I wanted to have a heart-to-heart with you guys and just tell you my C-section story. It was very traumatic for me, and honestly it's something that really shaped me to be who I am today. So I can't wait to give you guys an inside scoop so you guys could get to know me a little bit better. And honestly, I know a lot of women in the US especially do go through unplanned C-sections, so let me know if your experience is similar to mine. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Let's get into it, you guys. Alright, so boom, me and Danny were eating lunch, we're eating Taco Bell, and we finished. So I get up and I'm gonna go throw out the food, and when I get up I'm feeling like a little bit of a trickling coming down, and I was like, what is going on? Because in the movies, you know how they tell you like, oh, it's gonna be a big gush of fluid coming out when your water breaks. So that's what I'm expecting. Like, I'm not understanding if it's gonna be like a little bit like they say that it could be, or if it's gonna be like crazy like I seen in the movies. So I'm like, bro, let's go to the hospital just in case it is my water that broke. I don't want to be going into labor in PA when my doctor's in New York City. So we start making our way or whatever. And of course, when we get to the George Washington Bridge, there's mad traffic, bro. Like, so much traffic that like there was no way that I was gonna just wait there, because they said something about if your water breaks, like your kid could like catch an infection. I was like, oh no, like it's time to go. So I'm telling Danny, I'm like, go through the emergency lane. Like, I don't care. Like, if the police comes after me, we tell them I'm in labor, whatever. So I'm calling my mom. I'm like, yo ma, like it's time, just meet us in the hospital, whatever. Because my mom, thank God, she was living like about 2 blocks away from the hospital. So it was perfect, honestly. We had the perfect setup. Like, I already know my mom was about to hook me up with some massages in the hospital, my food, everything was gonna be great. And then we're in the hospital, and of course it's during COVID, so they only let me go up. So I'm there, I'm waiting, and they're not taking it serious. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, obviously something happened, like my water broke or something. And they're like, oh, it's okay, calm down, like we're gonna take you into the like triage room just to monitor you for a while. And then once they sent me up, like they took my vitals and everything, at that moment they was like, we're gonna take you into another room to monitor your blood pressure. And once we got to the room, they was like, oh, okay, like somebody could come upstairs with you. So at that moment I called Danny. I'm like, yo, you could come upstairs, because my mom, obviously she couldn't come up because it was COVID, so it was only one person at a time with you. Mad annoying. So I'm in the room where they're monitoring me, and I'm mad scared because I'm like, I don't know what's going on, you know. They have the high blood pressure machine hooked up to me, and they keep saying that I'm getting high readings, and I'm like, okay, like what does that mean? They say that it could be a sign of preeclampsia, which is something very dangerous while you're pregnant. So I was getting a little bit scared, honestly. And then at that moment they came back and did like the test to see if the water broke, and it came out that it wasn't the water broke. So I don't know, maybe I peed on myself. I don't know what that liquid was that I felt. But after that they was like, because you're having high blood pressure, we're gonna have to keep you and induce you. And then that's where my nightmare started. So once they say that they're gonna induce you, that means that they're gonna take you up to the labor room, and basically they're gonna give you a whole bunch of drugs to get you to have that baby that day. So they started giving me Pitocin. They put a balloon in to open up my cervix so that I could dilate. I ended up dilating to like 4 centimeters, having contractions and everything. And mind you, I wasn't thinking of getting an epidural. I wanted to do a natural birth, because in my mind, my mom did a natural birth, my grandma did a natural birth, unmedicated. And I was like, nah, like if they can do it, I can do it. Bro, I don't know, I give my props to them and any other woman that did it unmedicated, because those contractions, yo, those contractions are crazy. I was cold, sweating, in pain. I was like, yo, nobody touch me, get away from me, I'm about to hit somebody. So once I started feeling those contractions, I was like, nah, get me that epidural
right now.
So they ended up getting the epidural, and obviously that was one of the scarier moments for us too, because they say all these things about if you move you could get like paralyzed in your back or something, all these crazy things. So I'm there and I'm staying as straight as I can, as still as I can, while I'm having my contractions, which was honestly so hard. I honestly, it didn't hurt. Like getting the epidural, they say is a big needle going up your back, but it honestly didn't hurt me. You just have to stay very, very still. And then after that, I was feeling so good. Like honestly, like it feels like you're in heaven. You're just chilling in the bed, no more contractions, blah blah blah. But then when they started putting the Pitocin into me, that's when things got even scarier, because my son's heart rate kept going down. So out of nowhere, mad doctors rush in. Like, I'm telling you, like, it was probably like 10 doctors and nurses, and everybody's going crazy because they couldn't find the baby's heart rate. And at one point I was literally shaking, like I couldn't stop shaking, and they gave me a random shot to stop the shaking. I don't know what it was, but I just know it did help. But at that moment I was starting to be mad nervous because I was like, yo, Danny, what are we gonna do? Like, the baby's heart rate keeps going down, this Pitocin thing is not working, I'm not dilating at all. Like, I was stuck at 4 centimeters for like, and it was already the next day. It was like already 24 hours into this. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And then that's when the doctor came in, and then they broke the waters themselves, and then at that point they found out that the baby had gone number 2 inside of me. So at that point I was like, Danny, like, now this is getting scary, because they say that that's also dangerous when the baby goes number 2 inside of you. So I was like, I don't know, I think like I'm gonna have to be proactive about this. It doesn't seem like the doctors are taking it too serious, and that's something that you need to do. Like, you really need to advocate for yourself during your labor experience, because a lot of people are not gonna know what you're really going through. It's your body. So at that point I was like, Danny, I think we're just gonna have to call it a C-section, because I can't keep having my baby's heart rate keep going down. I can't keep having him in there with my water broken and him having number 2 all around him. I was like, there's no way. So I told the doctor, I was like, I think it's time to just do a C-section. We had already been there for mad long. I was like, there's no way that I'm staying here any longer with all of this happening. So Danny and I at that moment, we were really panicking, because we didn't have a C-section in our books. Like, we didn't think that that's something that we were gonna do, so we didn't plan for it. Like, I didn't have nothing in the house to help me with recover from a C-section, and if you don't know, C-section recovery takes mad long compared to like a vaginal delivery. So I was like, oh my god, like, I think this is just our only choice. So I put my big boy pants on and I was like, let's just get it done. And it was like 40 minutes that we had to wait until the operating room was ready for us. So the doctors came in, they gave Danny his little hat, they gave me my little hat, Danny's gown, and they was like, Danny, you have to stay in the labor room while we wheel Janny into the operating room. And honestly, at that point I was so scared, because I did not want to be alone, not even for 1 second. Like, it was so scary, because they were taking me into this room that I had no idea how long Danny was gonna take to get there. And once I'm there, it's such a cold room, it's so sterile. You're seeing faces of people you don't even know. You have, everybody's wearing masks because it was during COVID, so you can't even see anybody's expressions to kind of gauge like what's going on, like, is everything okay? And then once I see Danny, you guys, I swear, like, everything in my mind just turned around, and like, that's when I knew like everything was gonna be okay, because Danny is there. And like, that's when I knew, you guys, like, he's really the love of my life. And I'm trying so hard not to really cry right now. When he held my hand and I felt his warmth, I just knew that nothing could go wrong. It was so scary, you guys. And when the doctors, they started cutting me open, and I felt like I could feel everything, because you feel all the pressure, you feel everything, literally. Like, you feel all the movements that they're doing. Like, it's not like really pain, but it's like a lot of pressure. Like, it feels like it hurts, but like it really doesn't, because you're obviously with the epidural and the anesthesia. But at that point, like, I just didn't know what to do, you guys. I was so scared. But in that moment, like, I just feel like everything was gonna be okay, because Danny was there. And honestly, you guys, like, if you go through something like this, whether it's vaginal or a C-section, like, the person or the people that are there with you, you're gonna remember them for the rest of your life. The way that you were treated in those vulnerable moments are gonna go with you for such a long way. And that's honestly something that I'm always gonna appreciate for Danny, for sticking by me during those hard moments. And honestly, like, I don't know, and I feel like, honestly, my heart goes out to all those women that have to do it alone. Like, it's so hard to go through those things alone, you guys. Once they stopped pulling and taking everything out, then they took out the baby, and then he wasn't crying, you guys. And that part really shook me up, because it was so scary after everything that had already happened in the labor room. Once he came out and he wasn't crying, I was like, what's going on? And they rushed him to the pediatricians, and they were just getting out all the fluids from out of him. And thank God, oh my God, I think that was like the most beautiful sound of my life when I started crying. And then I just looked at Danny and I started crying and I was like, we did it, we finally. It's so scary, but I think the most important part is having someone that you really trust there, like Danny. And then my mom came as soon as we were done. She even came to our house for 3 months after and stayed with us, helping us postpartum. And honestly, that made the world's difference, you guys. Like, but it was just such a relief to have him out and seeing him. Everything else didn't matter, like all the scary moments, like everything that we had to go through to get there, like nothing mattered. Just having him there and having baby Danny alive and kicking, like that was the biggest gift of my life, you guys. Like, it's so hard not to cry while I tell this story, but I need to like gather myself. The moral of the story is that plans will always change, you guys. Like, I'm telling you, I had all the apps, everything about natural birth, researched everything, and then it just happened that I had to have a C-section. So, you know, the most important thing is just advocate for yourself during labor. Make sure that you know all your rights as a patient, and make sure that you are prepared for anything, like whether it is a C-section, whether it is a natural delivery. Just make sure that you are open to all the possibilities, because what's most important is that your baby comes out nice and healthy. Honestly, I just want to say thank you to Danny. Like, I've thanked him hundreds and thousands of times, but once you see this video, I just want you to know how much I love you and how much I appreciate you being by my side every single moment, from finding out that I was pregnant all the way to now that we have a beautiful 1-year-old. You guys, let me know in the comments if you have gone through something like this, because I just feel like it's something very relatable and something that's not really spoken about that much, because I feel like a lot of women just bottle it up and kind of just like say, like, you know, it's part of life, we all have to go through it, but it's also something that can traumatize you. Like, I swear, like, I really feel like that C-section traumatized me because it was not the birth that I planned for. I hope you guys got to know a little bit more about me with this video, and for any women that are pregnant and are expecting to get a C-section, don't be scared of it. You know, it's something that hundreds and thousands of women have to go through, and I promise you it's gonna be okay. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I'm happy to respond to them, but stay tuned for the next video.